Episode 4 of Loki Season 2 begins with Renslayer and Miss Minutes standing by the deceased Kang from the future. Minutes shows off a video of the pair together from the past, with Kang deciding to lead with Renslayer in the upcoming war. After erasing Ren's memories through Protocol 42, Minutes explains that it was Renslayer that actually commanded the armies, not Kang. Kang sat on his throne, but it was Ren who apparently did all the work. Of course it was. Back in the present timeline, Timely wanders through the hallways of the TVA. Mobius and Loki catch up and encourage him to join them so they can show what's happening. They bring him down to COB, who discusses engineering and exchange signatures. He also has a big model representation of the loom outside that he uses to explain the mission. One of them will need to take the throughput multiple down the gangway, then load it into a launch pad, hit the green button and let it missile off toward the loom. It'll dock, and then scale with the loom's capacity to manage the backlog of branches created when Kang was killed. However, there's way more temporal radiation than there was before, so Timely has a prototype to help stave off the throughput's multiplier decay from the radiation, which should do the trick. Outside, Sylvie grills Mobius for wanting to go and get some pie, pointing out that the branches are dying. Hey, anyone else remember 2 episodes again when Sylvie was told about this and she didn't care? Anyway, she eventually storms off and Loki follows after her. Together, Sylvie contemplates burning the place down and starting again. Trying to fix what's broken is hard, Loki says wisely, convincing her that what Timely is doing is the right thing and they need to try and hope he doesn't turn into He Who Remains. Meanwhile, Brad tries to rally Dox and the troops as they're all locked up in the same room together. Renslayer shows up with Miss Minutes and decides to be the new leader to restore stability to the TVA. Brad is the only one who wants to join her, so Ren has that machine turned on and destroys everyone who doesn't agree with her, including Dox and all her loyalists. Renslayer has Timely snatched up in the hallway and brought to her and Brad in the council room. With time running out, Sylvie ends up stuck in the elevator, while Obi and the others head downstairs to put their loom plan in order. Loki is still rushing around the hallways, along with the past version of Loki 2, which links back up to the ringing phone. In fact, our Loki stands back and watches as he prunes the past version, linking events back up together. The phone rings, and it happens to be Obi. In order to stop Miss Minutes, they can shut down the whole security system, but this would also allow them to do magic in the TVA as well. The power is shut off, with Miss Minutes gone after telling Timely that he'll never be him. In the hallway, X5 and Loki come face to face. The latter enchants X5 and has him step into the judge's council and prune Renslayer from this timeline. They snatch up Timely and hurry out, down to the loom chamber. Timely uses his bioscanner to open the blast doors, and then decides to be the one to suit up and set the loom at the end of the chamber. However, just as he steps outside in the suit, he completely disintegrates. The temporal radiation is way too high and he's destroyed. Oh. Well, that was a waste then. Kang and his variants are 0 to 3 here, for those keeping count. There's a huge shockwave of fire that bursts out from the timeline and heads straight for the TVA, which now has its defenses down and is about to get hit with the blast head-on until the episode ends. The episode review why Sylvie decided to boot Renslayer with Miss Minutes all the way to the future, in Kang's chamber no less, is a mystery. It's literally there to keep the plot moving and add another antagonistic threat, and in the end it's actually Brad that kills her off. Sylvie's character is somewhat of an enigma because she simultaneously doesn't care and wants revenge, and also wants to save everyone. In episode 2 she was told about the TVA pruning timelines and she didn't care. But now she's holier than thou? And after all, everything that's happening right now is her fault. She caused all of this, so she has absolutely no right to take the moral high ground. All that bloodshed and those deaths are on her hands. But then it gets worse, as Kang's threat is diminished even further. He's been killed 3 times now without so much as our heroes breaking a sweat. And even worse, it turns out Renslayer was the one who did all the heavy lifting for Kang, who just sat on his throne and did nothing. The times we've actually seen Kong, he just hasn't been a very compelling threat. H has been defeated by Sylvie with a knife through the gut, and another variant, apparently one of the strongest according to Quantumania, was destroyed by giant ants. And now Timely has just been wiped out like it's nothing. Why should we fear a million of these guys when Captain Marvel or Jaya could just wipe them out in a heartbeat? The ending hints that things are going to change drastically from here on out, so we'll have to wait and see what's in store for us.